Hello children, welcome to Neat World. This is Narayani, I am your foundation faculty. So in previous class we discussed about the replenishment of nutrients. What is meant by replenishment? Replenishment nothing but fulfilling the used nutrients in the soil. Right, in that we mainly discussed about the natural methods, right children? So in that mainly we discussed feed fallow method and also crop rotation. So let's start this session. Before starting the session, I would take the very important news for you children. What is that? So we are announcing the NEET World Scholarship Test on the dates of 29th and 30 March. And mode of examination is both offline and also online. For offline, you have to happily come for the institution which is present in the Narayanguda near metro station, Hyderabad. And for the who want to write the exam for the online, they can happily write the examination through our app name called MedWorld. On the dates of 29th and 30 March, you can get the notification of access the scholarship test. You can access the test and happily write the examination. As your flexibility children, you can happily write this examination. And children, eligibility for this scholarship test is 6 to 10 students. We are keeping the test according to the class wise. From the 6 to 10th, we are keeping according to class wise scholarship test, and who are got the top performance will get the cash rewards also children. So don't miss this opportunity children. I hope you will meet in the scholarship test and boost your future with NWST, NEET World Scholarship Test. And one more important news children for you. We are starting the foundation course from the 1st April onwards. So our specialty is we are giving the quality education with experienced teachers, and the main our focus on the conceptual topics of the exams of both NEET and JEE. Our mode of teaching is English and for the both CBSE and also SSE. The subjects covered by us is physics, chemistry, mathematics and biology, and mode of learning through digital panel, and we creating the animations to get better understand the concepts by us. So children, I hope you all join for this foundation course which starts on the April 1st. So let's discuss today's class children. The absorption of nutrients takes by the plants through nothing but soil, right? How it we take through food by mouth, right children? For the plants, how they absorb the nutrients, thereby absorb the nutrients with soil. See, here the nutrients uptake will be happen. So we discussed about the replenishment of nutrients. What is meant by replenishment children? Replenishment is nothing but filling the used nutrients present in the soil, which means if you are cultivating the crops like rice and wheat, they require more amount of nitrogen, right children? Then what is the nutrient depleted in the soil for the next crop? Nitrogen is the depleted nutrient in the soil, which means which present also less in amount, because the rice or the wheat used the nutrient nitrogen more in amount, right children? For that replenishment nutrients, we discussed the natural methods, right children? We discussed the feed fallow method and crop rotation. So fastly skim these two methods and let's go to the remaining methods. Right children, see here we are discussed the fallow land, feed fallow land. What is meant by feed fallow? We are keeping the land which is uncultivated for next after cultivation of one crop. We are leaving the land for fewer more seasons. Then there it get by naturally regain the nutrients. Is it logically smart idea? No, because by the increasing of the demand from the increasing of population, we should know it is a not smart practice, right children? So what is feed fallow method? It's regain its nutrients by naturally by dead plants decomposing by them through microbes. There it regain the nutrients, but for that we have to leave the land for 2 or more seasons, which means no agriculture practice should be done. So next one is crop rotation. What is crop rotation? I given the example also you children. Rotation means keep on rotating. See, the most important nutrient for the rice and wheat is nitrogen. So for the nitrogen, is used, present in the soil, used by wheat and rice. If you are cultivating the wheat, so the most used nutrient for the wheat is nitrogen. So for the next season, which nutrient is depleted in the soil, which means less amount will be the nutrient is nitrogen. Further, we have to fill it, we have to replenish the nutrient of nitrogen. Right children, what we do? So for natural, as it is a natural method, we have to cultivate the crop of leguminous plants. Leguminous plants having the special property called, they can fix the nitrogen. How they can fix the nitrogen, children? In the root nodules, in the roots of the leguminous plants, they have the ball like structures. We call it as nodules. Right children, we call it as nodules. In that nodules having the bacteria presence of rhizobium. Right children, which is rhizobium. These bacteria have the special property, can fix the nitrogen. So it fixes the nitrogen. After requirement of the nitrogen, the excess nitrogen will be sent into the soil. Thereby the nutrient nitrogen will be replenished as naturally to the soil. If the next crop, what we will do? If I cultivate the rice, then it will get the enough amount of nitrogen. And the next I cultivate the leguminous plant, then which was depleted amount of nitrogen in the soil, it can be replenished by the leguminous plant. After that I grown the wheat. So the present nitrogen content will be absorbed by the wheat crop. Next afterwards I cultivated the plants of non-leguminous plant. Thereby this is the crop rotation method. Thereby we can giving the nitrogen nutrient natural method by using the method of crop rotation. Right children? So let's fastly skim this crop rotation, which is very important, children. See, for each crop some nutrients will be less in amount after the harvested season. So therefore farmers, what will they do, children? They change the crop in each season, so that soil itself can fill the depleted nutrient present in the soil. So this is called crop rotation. So for example, what we take, wheat or rice, they have the require more amount of what nutrient they will require? They require nitrogen for their growth and development. Right children? So they uses large amounts of nitrogen from the soil. This nitrogen can be naturally replenished by the next crop. With the which plants? We are using the leguminous plants. Why leguminous plants? Leguminous plants having the roots in the presently having the rhizobium bacteria. In which place? Having the ball like structures, we call it as nodules. In that nodules rhizobium bacteria is present. That bacteria utilizes it converts the nitrogen into utilizable form, and then it fixing it as it is requirement, it fixes the nitrogen, and excess amount of nitrogen will be given to the soil. Thereby it can be replenished the soil to the depleted nutrient nitrogen. Right children? We mostly use the pea plant, groundnut plant, clover crops. We mainly use those crops. So the bacteria name called what children? Rhizobium are present in the root nodules. I said no, the ball like structures of the roots. So they are called leguminous plants. So they fix the atmospheric nitrogen to form the water soluble nitrogen compounds into the soil. Then the soil is ready for the next crop of wheat or rice. This is very important, children. We are alternating the crops with leguminous plants, non-leguminous plants, again leguminous plants, next again non-leguminous plants. Non-leguminous plants like rice and wheat, leguminous plants like pea plant, groundnut, clover, all of these. Right children? And then next, another most important method is mixed cropping. This is also the natural method, children. In the mixed cropping, what is meant by mixing? See, I have taken the sugar and also glass of water. I mixed it. We cannot differentiate the sugar and also water because they are mixed, right? Likewise, for the mixed cropping means they are not definite, which means they are indefinite. See children, sometimes what they will do, farmers for their assurance of crops, which means sometimes the crops will be for heavy rains and all that, the crop will be not able to give the enough profit for the farmers, right children? Thereby what farmers do you know, they will do the mixed cropping. It is also traditional method. The most traditionally they used method is also one of the method is mixed cropping. They used to grow two crops in the same piece of land. If it is a piece of land, they grown two crops. So if it gives the assurance, like if one crop falls also, the another crop which gives the profit, right children? So this is the mixed cropping. See, sometimes two or more crops are grown simultaneously, which means they are grown together in the same field, in the same piece of land. This reduces the risk of failure. It prevents the risk of failure. One is if one of the crop fail also, another crop will give the profit. Thereby the farmer can assure that if one crop is fail also, another crop will give the profit. So children, this mostly followed in the regions of rain-fed regions. Thereby for the heavy rainfalls, they follow this mixed cropping. And see, such as any leguminous plants, they will take like pea, soya bean and all, and they grow the cereal crops like wheat or rice. They grown together in the same field, thereby it can give it can prevent the risk of falling of the crop. So children, and most importantly for the mixed cropping, they prevent the pests and insects. For the mixed cropping, we can prevent the pests and insects. And we used mostly for the cotton and groundnut crops also often grow together. This is about the mixed cropping, children. So it is an indefinite pattern. It does not have the definite pattern because they are mixed. They are to be grown mixed. Not having the we cannot say this crop is particular cereal crop and this particular crop is groundnut. But they are mixed. It is grown in the mixed. We should not differentiate the both crops, right children? And we will see the pictorial representation also for this. And see, I will show it now only. Then you can get to know about it. See children, this is the mixed cropping. 1 minute. See, this is how the 1 minute children. It takes some time. So next method is intercropping. For the mixed cropping and intercropping, they are different, because mixed cropping we cannot differentiate the crop, but in the intercropping we can differentiate the crops because they have the different pattern, which means for the intercropping they grow one row of rice plants, next another row of pea plant, again they grow the rice crop, again they grow the leguminous crop. So thereby I will see children, this is the mixed cropping. We cannot differentiate the one crop, we cannot differentiate the crop in this, right children? See, we again come back with after discussing the intercropping children, then you can know about this differentiation of both the crops, then you easily get to know about it. See, 1 minute children. And also for intercropping, having the different rows, there can be easily for visible also you can easily catch this is the crop is growing. In this land they are growing two crops or two or more crops. We should not only two crops will grow in the intercropping. They will do 1:2 ratio, which means if one crop is rice, they will make the two lines of leguminous plants, other one row of rice, or else they will keep 1:3 also. Likewise they used to 2:3 also. It means if two rows I grown the non-leguminous plants like rice or wheat, again 3 rows of I am keeping the rows of leguminous plants. So this is how the intercropping pattern will be. So 1 minute children. Why it is not coming? Okay. See children. See, it is a practice of growing 2 or more crops two or more crops. It is not only two or one crop. If we are cultivating the two or more crops simultaneously in the same field, it is also in the same field, but it is in a particular definite. If it is the rice and next one is the pea plant. Take for example, I am making the two rows of pea crops, pea plant, next again rice. Thereby we can easily differentiate. This is the rice crop, one row is, next two rows are of pea plant crop. Pea plants are placed in this piece of land. We can easily differentiate, right children? So simultaneously grow in the regions, in the field like we are following rows. It economizes, which means which saves the space and also time for cultivating two or more crops. So easily, if the depleted nitrogen is present in the soil also, it is replenished by the leguminous crop, right children? It means intercropping is also one of the best method used on the traditional methods. It is one of the best method for natural methods. See, seeds of what we will do, what types of crops will grow. If component means parts, see this is one part, this two part, likewise. See, seeds of component crops are mixed and sowing is done in a precise pattern. They should form precise pattern, which means likewise see is the rice crop, right children? So they make assure that in the next two lines only the cereal crop will come. Likewise, they precise pattern they follow, like is 1:2 ratio or 2:3 ratio. Likewise, they cultivated the intercropping. Crops are chosen first. Which crops are chosen for this intercropping? Mainly, the motto of this intercropping is to fulfill the nutrients and to proper cultivation of crops will be seen. Thereby, we can easily know about which crops we have to collect in the period of gathering, harvesting, right children? This is also one of the most used method in the natural methods. Previously also the people most used this intercropping method, right children? So these are the four methods. One is feed fallow method, fallow land. What does it mean? We have to leave the land for one or more seasons to regain its naturally through microbes by dead plants, animals. So the microbes will convert into the nutrients. It is one of the natural method and it is not smart practice. Why it is not smart practice? By increasing the demand, we have to cultivate the crops by every season, right children? And next is crop rotation. It is also one of the most important method. We are growing the alternatively, the crops are changing alternatively. The best examples for this is rice and wheat. They require more amount of nutrient name called nitrogen, and for that to have to fix that nutrient, we are using the crop of leguminous plants like pea plant, clover plant, like that, right children? For the mixed cropping, we are growing simultaneously, we are mixing the crops. We don't have the definite pattern for this. So we are growing the mixed crops. This mostly mixed cropping is seen in the rain-fed regions, right children? They prevent this assures the failure of cropping. If one crop is failure also, another crop will be give the assurance and gives the profit. So traditionally in rain-fed regions, they used to do the mixed cropping, but it is a indefinite pattern, not choosing the definite pattern, right children? And also the most used crops for this, pea and soya bean, right children? So, and the cotton and groundnut, they are often grown together. And next, intercropping means this used to be done two or more crops like 1:2 ratio, 2:3 ratio, likewise, and it saves both time also, space also for cultivating two or more crops, but it is definite, right children? Let's see this four methods simultaneously. See, this is the feed fallow method. We are leaving the land, and children, soil has the property what we will give naturally or else anything if you give the vegetable waste, or else if you give the animal waste like hair, and all that. Also it make it turns, the soil turns the waste into a useful method. Then it can makes the useful method by by microbes and all that, and makes it to useful like nutrients wise. Then if we grown the crop means they absorb that nutrients, whatever we will give the soil takes and makes it useful form, right children. This is the fallow land, I left the land like that, and in that fallow land most weedy plants will grow. Again they decompose, dead animals, they can naturally regain the nutrients, but it is not the smart practice. Next, crop rotation. I am alternating the crops, like see this is the wheat crop. Wheat require more amount of nitrogen, right? Again I am growing the pea plants, right children? Again I am growing the pea plants, so I am alternating the crops, thereby the soil having the depleted nutrient, right children? If the crop is used more amount of nitrogen, mean for the next season only less amount of nitrogen present in the crop, so it can be replenished by the leguminous crops. This is the one of the most important method, crop rotation. Next is the mixed cropping. See children, we cannot identify which crop it is because two crops are mixed, right children? So this is mostly used practice in the rain-fed regions, and this is intercropping. See, we can easily specify what is this crop and next two crops, right children? So this is how the pattern will be. So it shows a definite pattern. If two crops is, if the two rows are cereals, next three rows will be leguminous. It is either 2:3 method, or else we can follow 1:2, which means one row is cereal, mean next two rows are leguminous. This is how the intercropping will be done, right children? So let's see the differences between the mixed and intercropping. See children, both are growing two crops. For intercropping we are growing either two crops or one or more crops, two or more crops. For the mixed cropping it is also two or more crops, but it is mixed, it doesn't have a definite pattern. So it is the technique used for growing, 1 minute children, it is a technique used for growing two or more different crops simultaneously in the same piece of land. There is no pattern for sowing. See, we cannot differentiate this is the row of one cultivating crop like that. So it is the indefinite form. Mixed cropping is indefinite. And coming to the intercropping, see children, it is a practice of growing two or more crops simultaneously in the same field, but it having the definite row patterns. See, this is the one crop, we can differentiate it. This is the another crop. See, we can differentiate the crops because in one pattern only one type of crop is cultivated. For the next row one type of will be cultivated. It is either maybe the 1:1 ratio, which means if it is rice means it is pea plant, or else 1:2 ratio. If it is the rice crop, mean next two is pea plants, right children, pea crop. Or otherwise if it is a one row is pea plant, mean other two rows is rice crop, right children? This is how the 1:2 method, or else sometimes they used to do 1:3 method also. If it is they will make for pea plant, mean they will do the pattern of 3 rows of rice. This is how the pattern will be continued. See, seeds or of different crops are mixed before sowing. We mostly used the crops are wheat, gram and groundnut, sunflower, wheat and peas, etc. These are the examples for the mixed cropping. We choose the wheat or gram, groundnut and sunflower. This is how we chose the plants for the mixed cropping. For the seeds of intercropping, see, we chose soybean and maize, finger millet, cowpea. This is how the intercropping examples, which means we grow those type of plants in a different patterns, right children? So I hope you understand well. See this, This is the mixed cropping. We cannot differentiate the crop particularly. This is the one row, it is grown the rice crop like that. So right children, this is the mixed cropping and this is the intercropping. See, we can differentiate. This is the row of one crop, this is the row of another crop. We can differentiate. We can easily differentiate the crops. So right children, after that, one of the most very important topic children, as the comparative wise, we are discussing the shifting cultivation or Zoom cultivation. What is meant by shifting and Zoom cultivation children? See, firstly, Zoom cultivation or else shifting cultivation / cultivation, burn cultivation are also same. We call it as shift cultivation also Zoom cultivation, / cultivation also Zoom cultivation, burn cultivation also Zoom cultivation. This is the name of same words. These are all known as the Zoom cultivations. We call it as anyway. Why this is made to do? It is it is a traditional farming children. They used to slash entire vegetation of the say piece of land and they burn the vegetation land and cultivate it for few years because they use the soil use the ash as a fertilizer and make it to useful nutrients. Then they cultivate the crops after few years. This is how the traditional farming is to done before days, right children? So it is a traditional farming children and it is a traditional farming technique that involves in clearing the land by burning, right children, and then cultivating it for after few years. In that time the ash is used as a fertilizer to the soil. The soil makes the soil turns the ash into fertilizer. It makes the nutrient form, right children? This is how the regain its nutrients. It is how replenished its nutrients. The soil is replenished its nutrients naturally, right children? This is the one of the comparative wise, it is very important children. In that after ash, after the burning, the ash turns into fertilizer. In that time the mostly the weeding plants like Eupatorium, Parthenium, Iconia may grow in such areas. So children, this is what about the Zoom cultivation or else the shifting cultivation or / cultivation or burning cultivation. The same, they are different names of the same cultivation, right children? They are the same. They are also called a shifting cultivation / cultivation or burn cultivation, right children? And 16th October we are celebrating as the World Food Day. If they asked in MCQs in which month, on what date you are celebrating the World Food Day is 16th October. So children, this is about the see here how they are burning the vegetative land. Because why, madam, you have to ask the question, why the Zoom cultivation is to be done? Because when the nutrients are depleted after many cultivation of crops in the same piece of land, they lose the nutrients, right? The depletion will happen in the soil. So soil loses the fertility. To regain its fertility, nothing but replenish its nutrients, replenish the nutrients. So they do the follow of this Zoom cultivation children. This is how they burn the vegetation of the piece of land. So this is what children, and in this session we discussed about the natural methods of mixed cropping, intercropping and Zoom cultivation in detailed way. So and in the next class we will discuss about the manuring, what is compost, what is fertilizers and all that children. So always stay tuned to the NEET World classes, and before the end of the session I would like to now announce the most important, I am reminding you children, most important news, and we are conducting the NW Star scholarship test children for you, and it is happening on the dates of 29th and 30 March. You can happily go through this examination through both online and also offline. As per your flexibility, you can take this test children. For offline, you need to come to our institute name called NEET World. It is present in the Narayanguda near metro station children. And for who want to write the online, you want to take the online examination, you can download the app name called MedWorld, and that you write happily your examination on the dates of 29th and 30 March. You get the notification For Acts is the scholarship test. So as your flexibility of timings, you can happily write this examination. For the eligibility for this scholarship test is 6 to 10 students who are upcoming students also can write this examination, children. So don't miss this opportunity, children, and the top most performers will get the cash rewards also. So children, boost your future with NWST, NEET World Scholarship Test. So right children, thank you. Always stay tuned for the NEET World classes. Thank you.